Vice President Kamala Harris has picked Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. With the selection of Walz, Harris hopes to shore up her campaign standing across the upper Midwest, a critical region in the presidential politics. This region often serves as a buffer for Democrats seeking the White House. However, the party remains haunted by the Republican Donald Trump's win in Michigan and Wisconsin in 2016. Earlier, Democratic delegates had selected Harris to be the party's presidential nominee. According to the final vote results released late Monday, the Democratic National Committee, Harris official claimed the nomination. She received nearly 4,600 votes, which was 99% of participating delegates. For more on this, I'm now joined in the studio by Ambassador Keshi, Nigeria's former permanent secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Ambassador, great to have you here.
As always, my pleasure to be with you.
So how significant is a vice presidential pick to the outcome of an election, especially one such as this?
Well, you know, in a place like the United States, it's significant depending on, you know, how the presidential candidate perceive that election is going to play out. And when you go back to history, you see some of the decisions that have been made by, you know, former presidents or presidential candidates. For example, JFK had to take somebody from Texas, somebody older, somebody more experienced, somebody who is a grassroots, you know, person. Obama even took a much older person, but also somebody very vast in the U.S. politics. So it depends. The most important thing in this case is that many people were hoping for, I mean, there were those who were predicting the governor of Pennsylvania, but it turned out that the base itself is happy, very happy with this selection. So I think that is the most important thing, that they now have the presidential race is set to go. That is the most important thing right now.
So how would this selection influence key demographics that are critical for success for the Democrats? You
know, this guy has a very interesting pedigree to start with. And those who know him very well, from all what we have heard in the last 5-6 hours, is that he speaks a language that rural America, white rural America, understands and appreciates, number one. Number two, he seems to have done relatively well as governor of Minnesota. And I think a number of people are looking at it that he fits the bill of what the Democratic Party has always stand for. And that's very critical when you are in a very tight race, you know, like this. Pennsylvania, Shapiro could have been okay, but he also carries some risk, you know. But at the end of the day, for me, the most important thing is that there is overwhelming support right now in the Democratic Party for the pick.
And how might this election influence the dynamics of debates? I mean, per them, you know, Tim Walz against J.D. Vance.
Interesting enough, the presidential candidate, Madam Vice President, you know, Harris, is looking forward to, you know, not debating but persecuting Trump. And somebody said, you know, CNN this evening that this gentleman, you know, is also going to persecute DJ Vance of the Republican Party. So I think for us, we just sit down and wait and see what, you know, what happens. But it's going to be a very interesting contest.
And how do you see the race playing out in the coming months? It is going to be tight from the polls, but Vice President Kamala Harris seems to be, you know, moving up or inching up in the polls as opposed to, you know, a couple of weeks back.
She's going to get a bounce from this election. She's going to get a bounce from touring the, you know, battleground states. And finally, she's going to get a bounce from the convention. How the ability to sustain that bounce to election day will give her victory. So we just wait for the polls. But definitely, this is going to bring us some, you know, skyrocket up her popularity. The convention itself, look, most times presidential candidates and their vice presidential candidates, they come out of the convention with some bounce. The ability to sustain that bounce by addressing the issues that the people of America wants to hear, wants to listen to, and that confidence. Last night and 2 days ago, you saw what happened in the, with the market, the global economic situation.
Yes.
But now it's picking up, so that's good news for the, for the Democrats. But as we go on, I think if the economic situation continues to improve, and they continue to get the bounce, already Trump is not in a good shape because he continues to complain that unlike 8 years ago when he first ran, he virtually sucked out the oxygen from everybody.
Yes.
That is not happening today.
And
that is making him very unhappy.
Exactly.
And weird, if I have to use that popular word.
Yes, I was going to ask that they are waiting to pounce on Tim Walz.
Yes.
Do you see any controversial aspects of Tim Walz's political career that might pose a challenge here?
Not necessarily. Look, if you listen to the language and to efforts to characterize both the vice president and now its running mate, they've really not been able to find anything beyond calling them radical liberals, more dangerous than Sanders and the rest of it. Now, those are not slogans that are going to stay at the end of the day. They need to find out something more substantial, and that means that either the Republicans return back to and deal with the issues of the economy. The Democrats also would have to defend Joe Biden's record and even do more by promising to do better than Joe Biden has done. But so far, Joe Biden has done relatively well, so they have something to run on with.
So in 90 seconds, the Minnesota governor, he was a governor. How do you see the significance of his role as a governor, playing into this entire campaign? For its region, he seems to be very popular because of some of the things he has done, like very progressive
policies. Ensuring for it. The one I like best is the fact that, they have this school meal program for all schools, which has been very successful. And because we are saying this, look, we have started school meal in this country, which has never been successful. So I hope our politicians are listening, that there's a place you can actually feed children in school and ensure that it is success. Not the kind of thing that we've been doing in this country. So it's an opportunity for them to know that a governor or governors can actually do school meal and it's successful. Ambassador Joe Keshi, thank you so much for coming to the program. As always, thanks for having me. Well, that's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Do join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, goodbye and thank you for watching.